From Death Star to Death Becomes Her by Sean Katibi. It is a dark time for the rebellion. Although the Death Star has been destroyed, Imperial troops have driven the rebel forces from their hidden base. These words would be some of my first known memories. I couldn't read it. I didn't know what the words were or what they meant. I was so young I don't even remember how old I was. The movie was Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and if you know anything about Star Wars, the opening text, or crawl, is very powerful imagery. It's just yellow words scrolling up into space at the beginning of every movie, but it would be my introduction into language. I watched a lot of movies and shows growing up. I remember when I was about 7, my parents got me a subscription to Disney Adventures, which was a magazine for kids. The magazine would be filled with information about up and coming movies and shows, video games, and had puzzles and other fun activities in it. As a kid who loved television but did not read much, this got me into reading more. Any book related to school, I wouldn't touch, but if there was information about the new James Bond movie, I was all over it. With these magazines, I would have my own adventures, just reading every magazine that came in the mail for me. I was excited about up and coming movies. Batman Forever, The Mask, and Ace Ventura were notable movies I remember reading about. There would be behind the scenes interviews, movie synopsis, and information about the actors you never knew about. I don't remember much of how I learned to read or write. It's one of those things that was just taught to me very young. I have vivid memories that are in my head, like coming home from school and being forced to write words and definitions down. My father helping me with my homework, forcefully parenting me to get the answers right when I kept getting them wrong. We learned how to write in cursive around fourth grade, I believe. When I was in fifth grade, our teacher told us to write a make believe story as if it were the 1850s. As students wrote their short stories, I kept writing for what seemed like days. I got real creative with it, which involved me going on missions with Harriet Tubman to help slaves escape from the Underground Railroad. My teacher was impressed and had me read the story out loud to my fellow classmates. I felt proud, and this would be a vivid memory that would let me know that I was a good storyteller. My mother passed away when I was about 12, and afterwards, my father gifted me an electric guitar I had been wanting for a long time. I guess this was his way of overcompensating and filling a void with what happened. My love for storytelling mixed with my new obsession for playing music would turn into a new form of writing. To this day, music is still a big part of my life. I would write words down and turn them into songs. They probably weren't the best songs, but I would get better over time. Learning how to write a verse or a chorus for a song was fun, challenging, scary, and rewarding all at the same time. This was a form of communication that would allow me to express language in a different way. My inspiration for writing songs came from personal feelings, movie inspirations, comic book stories, and just my own imagination. A big inspiration for my writing came from a few bands I listened to. Billy Joe Armstrong, who was a punk rocker, wrote with fast, angry, and passionate style. Another writer, Darren Miller, from the band CKY, would write poetic and story driven songs that came from his love of horror movies. These two inspirations would be a catalyst for my music and writing. Movies like Death Becomes Her, A Beautiful Mind, and Batman Begins would shape into songs called A Painted Lie, Control Yourself, and The Dark Knight. When I was in high school, my generation was introduced to the first forms of social media. The ones I knew were LiveJournal and AOL Chat. LiveJournal was a website you could post your thoughts in a blog with a certain theme and a song for your page as you visited the website. You could connect with friends and strangers and communicate in a different way. I didn't use LiveJournal or any other social media at the time. I felt like I was too good for it, like I was above it and the people that used it. Being a teenager, I would make fun of people that had Facebook or Twitter, and as the years passed, I would eventually end up caving in and having social media. The feeling of being left out and feeling lonely is probably what made me get it. Along with text messaging, it would be a crossover from the way people used to read and write to each other. Connecting with friends and family and strangers felt like a fun way to interact with people. Instead of writing letters or email, we would just send a text or direct message. With this new way of communicating, words and phrases would change into acronyms such as LOL, BRB, and IDK. Even though new forms of communication brought new slang like acronyms, I realized that the evolution of language is nothing new. For example, David Parker goes over how the phrase y'all is perceived as slang and has been throughout the various periods in time dating back all the way to the 1600s, page 685. Being born in the 80s, it feels like there's always evolving ways to read and write things now. I used to read books with my eyes. Now I listen to them with my ears. I used to write words with my hands. Now I say them into my phone or computer. Reading and writing in my later life, though convenient, feels lazy and unnatural at times. Traditionally, I like reading something tangible and writing with the help of inspiration from people rather than things like artificial intelligence. AI is something I use, but to help get the work done faster from my own ideas. I feel it gets in the way of creativity if someone is using it to help write the ideas for them. It will almost always write correctly, but it cannot produce writing in your own voice or with your own personality. From Lunsford, page 569. The way I read and write is always changing. I just hope that when it's over, I am in a galaxy far, far away.